Welcome to Pimp Points. I'm Joshua Caleb Jackson, career coach, motivational speaker, and author of How to Pimp Corporate America. This is the second episode of my Pimp Points video blog series. Now, in the very first episode of the Pimp Points video blog series, I mentioned that I wanted to focus on 5 Pimp Points on how to obtain your dream job. Uncovering your unique factor was the very first Pimp Point to achieving your dream job. In this episode, I want to mention the second Pimp Point. You are your own brand. I want you to stop for a moment and think about your favorite brand or service. When you have that brand image in mind, think about how it makes you feel. Just like how it makes you feel, that's how your personal brand needs to be to others. So you're probably thinking, how is my brand important for the advancement of my career? Well, allow me to explain. The meaning behind being your own brand starts when you can figure out what your brand is, the uniqueness of your brand, and lastly, marketing your brand. Starting with what your brand is, it essentially is the culmination of all of your talent, skills, and abilities that forms your unique personal brand. Take, for example, the brand, The Corporate Pimp. I realized how quickly I climbed the corporate ladder, and I just want to help others get there as well. As I was writing the outline for my book, I realized that I had to have a brand, something that people could recognize and they could relate to. That brand essentially is the corporate pimp. Now I want you guys to understand something. When I created the corporate pimp character, it was really a representation of me and how others can do the same thing that I've done. Who knew that the corporate pimp character would take me on a journey to write a book, to go on a tour, and to start my own corporation? Next is the uniqueness of your brand. As I mentioned earlier, the corporate pimp is my brand. You rarely hear corporate and pimp in the same sentence. That's what makes my brand so unique. What also makes my brand unique is that in my book, I talk about pimping yourself in order to pimp corporate America. The thing I want you to understand is that I'm offering career professional development services, but under the name of the corporate pimp. I basically took something that was not unique, which is offering career professional development services, and turn it into something that could be unique, which is the corporate pimp offering career professional development services. That is how you make your brand stand out. Lastly is marketing your brand. So you're excited that you know what your brand is, you know the uniqueness of your brand, but now you gotta market it. Marketing your brand is so important because it's all about exposure. As more and more people start taking notice of your brand, you will definitely start reaping rewards. I'll give you an example. In 2016, I started a nationwide motivational speaking tour to 39 states and 88 cities. Talk about exposure, I was literally everywhere. One of the schools I visited offered to pay me to speak. Now at this point, I don't know how much a motivational speaker gets paid, but guess how much they offered to pay me? I spoke for 30 minutes and they paid me $1,000. Ladies and gentlemen, that's $2,000 an hour. If I never marketed my brand the right way, I would not have received $1,000. I kept pushing, I kept thriving because I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And because I marketed my brand, it propelled me to grow my business, which in my case is my career. This is why it's so important to market your brand. So the main pimp point I want you to get out of this second episode is that you are your own brand. Why your brand is so important to your career? It's because of these 3 things like I mentioned before. Know what your brand is, understand the uniqueness of your brand, and market your brand accordingly. To understand the how-to techniques on building your personal brand, join the Corporate Pimp community.